I should have never let it get this far. I stand in front of the mirror, my breath coming in short, uneven gasps. Sweat glistens on my skin, a sheen of guilt and satisfaction intermingling in a way that I can't quite separate. I wipe a damp strand of hair from my face, my fingers trembling. What have I done? It started so innocently. My husband Steve suggested I get a personal trainer to help with my fitness goals. He's always been supportive like that, eager to see me happy, confident, glowing. When I first met Jake, my new trainer, I didn't think much of him beyond his professionalism. He was just another part of my routine, someone who helped me shed a few pounds, tone a few muscles, feel good about myself again. But then things began to shift. The way he looked at me during sessions started to linger just a little longer, his hands guiding me through exercises with a touch that sent shivers down my spine. I told myself it was nothing. It's his job after all, I thought. But I couldn't ignore the spark that ignited every time our eyes met. Today was different. The session began like any other. Jake had me working on the usual, a series of squats, lunges, and planks. We laughed as we often did, his jokes lightening the intense workout. But there was an undercurrent between us, a tension that crackled in the air like a live wire. I tried to push it aside, focus on the burn in my muscles, the rhythm of my breath. Then, while I was in the middle of a set, he came closer than usual, his breath warm against my neck as he corrected my form. "You're doing great," he murmured, his voice a low rumble that I felt more than heard. I froze for a second, my body betraying me as I leaned into his touch. I could smell the faint scent of his cologne, the salt of his sweat mingling with mine. It was intoxicating, overwhelming. Before I knew it, I turned, our faces just inches apart. The world around us seemed to blur, the gym's usual noise fading into the background. His eyes locked onto mine, searching, questioning. I should have stepped back, laughed it off, but instead I found myself closing the distance. The kiss was hesitant at first, like we both weren't quite sure what we were doing. But then the floodgates opened and years of suppressed desire surged forward. His hands were on me, pulling me closer, and I couldn't resist. I didn't want to resist. It was as if the months of careful flirting, the tension that had been building up between us, finally erupted. When we finally pulled away, breathless and flushed, the reality of what we'd just done slammed into me like a tidal wave. What have I done? The words repeated in my mind, a silent scream that echoed through my thoughts. Jake stepped back, running a hand through his hair, eyes wide with a mix of shock and something else. Regret, perhaps? I couldn't tell. I wanted to speak, to say something that would make this less real, less catastrophic, but my throat was dry, words escaping me. "I'm sorry," he finally said, his voice strained, but I could see in his eyes that he wasn't sorry at all. And the terrifying thing was, neither was I. I grab my towel and head towards the exit, avoiding Jake's gaze as I move. My heart is pounding, my mind a chaotic mess of thoughts and emotions. I know I've crossed a line that can never be uncrossed. As I step out into the daylight, the sun warm on my skin, I feel the weight of my actions settling over me. I try to focus on the future, on what comes next. My marriage, my husband, he doesn't deserve this. But I can't deny the pull that Jake has on me, the way he makes me feel alive in a way I haven't felt in years. I know I should end it before it goes any further, but as I walk to my car, I can't help but wonder when I'll see Jake again, when I'll feel his touch, taste his lips. The guilt is there, a constant gnawing at my conscience, but so is the thrill, the addictive rush of doing something so forbidden. I should have never let it get this far, but now that it has, I don't know how to stop. Every time I had a training session, we started it pretending there was nothing between us. But as soon as he touched my skin, it was like electricity was running through me. We weren't able to resist each other. So every training session ended sweaty, but not from working out. We would kiss passionately and end up entangled in each other's arms on the floor. Of course, his body was amazing. He could literally sweep me off my feet. Every time I would leave, panting, glowing, and my husband noticed how happy I was when returned from my training sessions. Little did he know. He knows. I can see it in the way he looks at me. There's a sharpness in his eyes, a cold, quiet fury that wasn't there before. He's sitting across from me at the kitchen table, his hands clasped together as if trying to keep himself from shaking. The air between us is thick with tension, an invisible wall that I can't break through. How long? Steve's voice is steady, eerily calm, but there's a tremor beneath the surface. I can feel it, like the ground is about to give way beneath us. How long, Sarah? He repeats, his voice louder this time, more insistent. I flinch at the sound of my name, like it's a weapon he's wielding against me. Not long. I finally manage to whisper, but the words feel hollow, meaningless. What does not long even mean? It's a pathetic attempt to downplay what I've done, to minimize the hurt I've caused. He closes his eyes for a moment, taking a deep breath as if trying to keep himself under control. When he opens them again, there's a sadness there, deep and all-consuming, that twists my heart in ways I never thought possible. Why? He asks, and this time, his voice breaks. It's a single word, but it's loaded with everything we've ever been, everything we've built together. The love, the trust, the memories. It all hangs in the balance, waiting for my answer. I don't know, I say, and it's the truth. I don't know why I did it. I don't know why I let things spiral out of control. I don't know why I risked everything for something that was never real. He laughs, but there's no humor in it. It's a bitter, hollow sound that echoes through the room, making me feel even smaller, even more insignificant. You don't know? He repeats, shaking his head in disbelief. You don't know why you cheated on me? Why you threw away our marriage for some fling? The word cheated hangs in the air like a noose, tightening around my neck. I want to take it back, to undo everything, but I can't. The damage is done and there's no going back. I'm sorry, I say, but the words feel weak, inadequate. How can sorry ever be enough? He stands up suddenly, the chair scraping against the floor with a harsh screech. He's pacing now, running his hands through his hair, his mind racing a mile a minute. I can see him struggling, trying to make sense of it all, trying to find a way to process the betrayal. I trusted you, Sarah, he says, his voice thick with emotion. I loved you. I thought we were happy. I thought we were enough. His words slice through me like a blade. He's right. He's always been more than enough. It was never about him. Never about what he wasn't giving me. It was about something broken inside me. Something I couldn't fix, no matter how hard I tried. It wasn't about you, I say, my voice barely above a whisper. It was never about you. Then what was it about? He asks, his eyes searching mine, desperate for answers that I don't have. I shake my head, tears spilling over my cheeks. I don't know. I'm so sorry. I never wanted to hurt you. I never wanted any of this. He stops pacing and looks at me, really looks at me, and I can see the resolve hardening in his eyes. I can't do this, Sarah, he says, his voice cracking. I can't be with someone who doesn't know if I'm enough. I can't stay in a marriage where I'm constantly questioning if you're going to betray me again. Panic grips me as I realize what he's saying. Please don't leave, I beg, my voice shaking. We can work through this. We can go to counseling. We can. He cuts me off with a wave of his hand, his expression pained. I don't think there's anything left to work through, he says quietly. You made your choice, and now I have to make mine. I watch as he turns and walks away, his footsteps echoing through the house. My heart feels like it's being ripped from my chest, the reality of what I've done crashing down on me. When I hear the front door close behind him, I know I've lost him. Maybe forever. The silence that follows is deafening, a reminder of the life I've destroyed, the love I've thrown away.